something that is very common that happens in other organ systems also, but happens in the skin also. What? What is the tumor that occurs in the lung, that can occur anywhere in the body, because it occurs in the what? So, squamous cell carcinoma, right? So, these are the main 3 important skin tumors, okay? So, today is going to be just overview of the gross morphology and what you are going to see in the microscope. Have you been shown slides of these 3? Yes or no? SCC, I think so. No? Slides of SCC has been shown or not? Squamous cell carcinoma. Shown, okay. Melanoma? At least you should say yes or no. No, okay. BCC, basal cell carcinoma? No. Okay, fine. So, I think we all know what are the layers of skin? Yes. Don't know. हाँ लिखा भी है, at least बोलो. And what is this? Subcutaneous tissue, right? Okay, so what are the layers of epidermis? हाँ. This is batch B. Batch B. मतलब 51 onwards है ना? Roll number 55. Where is roll number 55? 55 is absent. Okay, 59. Okay. Bolo. 59, who is 59? Stand up. Bolo. What are the layers of epidermis? Okay. That is also known as what? Stratum spinosum. Okay, then. Okay. Lucidum. And where is this layer present exclusively? Okay, and what? Stratum corneum. So, which is the superficial most layer? Superficial is basal cell layer. Basal से ही पता चल रहा है ना, it's the basal layer, right? So, superficial is stratum corneum, followed by lucidum in palms and soles, then granulosum, spinosum and germinatum or basal cell layer, okay? So, when we go from the basal layer upwards, what happens to the nuclei? The nuclei starts becoming what? Smaller and smaller in size, and gradually it disappears. It's not present in the stratum corneum, okay? Stratum corneum is devoid of nuclei, okay? Now, this was epidermis. What are the 2 layers of dermis? Sit down, okay? Papillary dermis and reticular dermis. Papillary dermis is the one which is what? In contact with the stratum basal, right? And then there is reticular dermis, okay? And beyond that, what is present? The subcutaneous tissue, which is mainly composed of fat, okay? So, now, which do you think is the thickest layer? In the epidermis, this is epidermis. Which one? Stratum spinosum, okay. Melanocytes are present in which layer? You all know. Jaldi bolo. Which layer? Basal layer. So, basically skin tumors, keratinocytic tumors and melanocytic tumors, okay. Keratinocytes are present where? Which are the keratinocytes? Yeah. Epidermis is made of what? Keratinocytes, right? So, anything originating from there, keratinocytic tumors. So, basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma, okay. Now, melanocytic tumor is malignant melanoma. These are the 3 most important ones. There are other tumors also, but for you people, these are the 3 most important ones. And today you are going to be seeing the slides of these 3. Basal cell carcinoma, most common skin cancer. It is slow growing. Okay, what was it also called? Historically, earlier it was called something, some ulcer related to a pest, not a pest, rodent ulcer, exactly, okay. So, it rarely metastasizes, occurs at sun exposed areas commonly. We will not go into the theory so much, okay. So, how does it present morphologically? Grossly, it presents as a raised nodule or papule. It can also present as an ulcer, thus the name rodent ulcer, okay. It is typically erythematous in lighter skinned individuals. It is also, skin cancers are common in what? Caucasian white population, right? Lighter skinned individuals, okay. There can be deposition of melanin pigment also sometimes. In which tumor typically there is melanin deposition? Which one? Melanin comes from which cell? So, then melanoma, right? Melanoma, okay. So, can you see this erythematous reddish appearance, okay, and you can see those telangiectatic blood vessels, okay, often with prominent subepidermal blood vessels, telangiectasia. Can you see the ulcer? Okay, now coming to the most important part, the microscopy. What are these cells? These tumor cells are present in nests, okay, baseloid cell nests with cells having hyperchromatic nuclei, scant basophilic cytoplasm and high nuclear to cytoplasmic ratio, okay. So, these are very important, this word baseloid cell nests. Tumor nests, islands or cords extend into the dermis, right. There is peripheral palisading in the tumor islands or nests, okay. Peripheral tumor cells are arranged in a parallel fence-like pattern, okay. Very important, baseloid cell nests, peripheral palisading and retraction artifacts, okay. So, what happens is, there is a gap between the tumor cell nests and the surrounding stroma, okay. This is known as the retraction artifact, okay. These are clear spaces separating tumor nests and surrounding mucinous stroma caused by mucin-rich stromal alteration and tissue processing. During tissue processing, what happens is, there is retraction and whatever stroma was present between, or the mucin that is present between the tumor island and the stroma, that disappears off, okay. So, thus you can see clear artifacts, retraction being formed, okay. Mitotic figures are usually sparse, however, in aggressive forms, the mitosis may be increased and necrosis is also uncommon again, but in aggressive forms, necrosis is also present, okay. Okay. Now, these are what? These are the tumors. Can you appreciate this island of tumor, okay, and this is the surrounding stroma, okay. Here also, if you see, this is the retraction artifact, okay, this space between the stroma and the tumor island. Now, can you make out that this whole tumor island at the periphery, it seems to be a little different, a little more darker. That's because these cells are upright, they are perpendicular. This is known as peripheral palisading, okay. And this is the retraction artifact. Again, tumor islands, you will see slides also. This is the stroma, the light pink part is the stroma surrounding the tumor, okay. This is the retraction artifact. This is the retraction artifact, retraction artifact. If you see, there is mucin, okay. Now, there are several types of BCC. Just know the names, nodular BCC, depending on morphologically how they present. Nodular BCC, pigmented BCC. So this can be confused with melanoma, okay? Because melanoma typically what? Produces melanin pigment. Okay, ulcerative BCC, okay, then this is morphiform BCC. The tumor is compressed into thin strands by the dense collagen stroma, and there is mucin also. Can you make out? This is the tumor. These are the tumor cells. They have become like strands, thin strands here, and surrounding the pink parts are the stroma. Again, this is micronodular BCC. Now coming to squamous cell carcinoma. Okay, so how do you think a squamous cell carcinoma will present? Roll number 65. 65 is absent. Okay, 70. How do you think SCC will present morphologically when you see the lesion? Melanocytes? Sorry? Squamous cell carcinoma. Melanin deposition where? In which tumor? Melanoma. Right. So, how will squamous cell carcinoma present? Ulcers, nodular growth, okay, depending on the area, sometimes it can present in the oral cavity also has SCC, right? Sometimes it can present as a white patch, okay, it doesn't go away, or red patch, what do you call that? Precancerous lesions, the in situ ones. Erythroplakia, leukoplakia is present in the oral cavity or not? Yes or no? How many months are there for exam? Sit down. Okay, 75. Roll number 75. 65 and 75 are absent. Okay. 77. How will it present? SCC. Yes, very good. Ulcerative and? Ulceroproliferative also, fungating also, right? Endophytic growth, it can be an endophytic growth, okay? Or it can be an ulceroproliferative growth, okay? That is, sit down, that is it, grows out of the surface, okay? Ulceroproliferative, or it can be a what? Just it will appear as a superficial ulcer, or it will be a non-healing ulcer. Very important. Many times there will be an ulcer and we'll think, patient thinks that it is just some kind of infective cause and it will heal. But one of the important causes of non-healing ulcer is squamous cell carcinoma. Okay. You can see sometimes in those ulceroproliferative growth, cauliflower-like growth, what can you see? You can sometimes see necrosis, okay. You can see hemorrhage, okay. Right. Squamous cell carcinoma is the second most common tumor, okay. This also has predilection to arise on sun-exposed sites and very commonly occurs in the elderly population, SCC, okay. Men more than women. Other risk factors are radiation, carcinogens, of course immunosuppression, HPV infection, etc. Okay. Okay. So, what is in situ carcinoma? What is in situ carcinoma? Exactly. Okay. Right. So, there is atypia, okay, but it does not cross the basement membrane, okay. All the cells are atypical, but it is not breaching the basement membrane. Therefore, it is in situ, okay. When we say squamous cell carcinoma, that means it has invaded the basement membrane and gone into further into what? Yeah, dermis, subcutis, because we are talking about skin, right? Okay. 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 So, this is your SCC, squamous cell carcinoma. If you notice here, this is what? Epidermis, right? Here there is atypia in these layers also, but here you can see that the tumor has started invading into the what? Dermis, underlying tissue, okay? And again, this is the tumor proper, okay? So what do you see? What happens? So how are these squamous cells connected to each other? By? Bolo madam, how are they connected to each other? Normally, what is present between the cells? Intercellular bridging is there or not? Right? Okay. So basically, why am I telling you this? That is because in this carcinoma, you will appreciate intercellular bridges between these tumor cells also. Okay? Right? So this is a characteristic of squamous cell carcinoma. Okay? You will see lobules of these atypical squamous cells. Okay? Which will have sometimes pleomorphic nuclei, hyperchromasia, okay, there will be mitotic figures, irregular nuclear membrane, okay, there will be this abundant what, eosinophilic cytoplasm, sometimes there will be keratin also, depends, if it is keratinizing SCC, okay, then there will be keratin also, abundant keratin present, okay, and then there will be formation of something very typical in SCCs, especially well differentiated ones. What are they called? Keratin pearls. Yes, very good. So, do you know the differentiation of SCC? How are we going to grade it? No, okay. What are they called? Well differentiated, moderately, and poorly differentiated. Okay. So, what is well differentiated? So, I have told you before also, whenever any tumor is atypical but it looks more like its parent tissue of origin, you are able to make out that this tumor is coming from this tissue, from squamous cells or suppose from lung parenchyma or from whatever, then that is more towards well differentiated, okay. Whenever by looking at the tumor you are not able to identify the parent tissue, that means it is going more towards, it's losing its differentiation, going more towards poorly differentiated. So, well differentiated SCC will have what? Will have a lot of these keratin pearls. There will be intercellular bridging between these squamous cells, okay, and pleomorphism will be lesser compared to the higher grades, okay. Now, what is poorly differentiated? There will be very few keratin pearls. There will be marked nuclear pleomorphism, there will be a lot of mitosis, okay, loss of intercellular bridging, and whatever comes in between this well differentiated and poorly differentiated is known as moderately differentiated. There will be some keratin pearls, in some parts of the tumor you will see bridging, there will be moderate amount of nuclear pleomorphism. Again, well differentiated, moderately differentiated and poorly differentiated. Easily recognizable, well differentiated one, easily recognizable squamous epithelium, abundant keratinization, intercellular bridging is present, minimal pleomorphism, mitotic figures are mostly basally located. Moderately differentiated, focal keratinization, okay, it is in between well and poorly differentiated. Poorly differentiated has no or minimal keratinization, marked nuclear atypia, may be difficult to establish squamous differentiation. So, many of the times when this poorly differentiated or undifferentiated tumors come, what happens is, since we cannot readily tell that this is squamous cell carcinoma, we have to, determine the type of carcinoma or the type of malignancy by IHCs, immunohistochemistry. Now, coming to melanoma. Again, in light-skinned population, more common. There can be history of UV ray exposure, upper back in males, back and legs in females. These are the common sites, okay? Okay. There are other melanocytic tumors also. You know about nevi. You should know the types of nevi also. Okay. So, how will this melanoma look? When a patient comes to you, what are you going to think of? How are you going to suspect that, okay, this is melanoma? So, what is the A, B, C, D, E of melanoma? Okay. So, A for asymmetry. So, one half is unlike the other half. Can you appreciate that here? A is asymmetry. B is for border. Irregular scalloped or poorly defined borders. Okay. Then comes the color. It varies. The color will vary from one area to another. Okay. It can have shades of tan, brown, black. Okay. Then comes the diameter. Melanomas are typically greater than 6 millimeter. Typically, usually, but can be smaller. Again, evolving. A mole or skin lesion that looks different from the rest or is changing in size, shape or color. Okay. Suppose there is a mole and it has been present for years in a patient and suddenly it starts growing in size or it becomes darker in color, more pigmentation, then you can definitely suspect melanoma. You will send for a biopsy. Sometimes it will come when the patient comes to you or the tissue comes to you because of excessive melanin production, it will be totally black. Okay, can you see the color? And sometimes there will be very low melanin production also in some forms of melanoma. So, it will again retain normal color, it will not appear that black. But for your exams, we are going to give you a slide which has what? Melanin production. Okay, so how will it look in microscopy? These individual melanoma cells are usually larger than normal melanocytes, okay, and they have enlarged nuclei, okay, enlarged nuclei, and they can have hyperchromatic or they can have vesicular nucleoli, okay, irregular nuclear contours, okay, and they will have prominent eosinophilic nucleoli, large nucleoli. They will have prominent eosinophilic. Breslow and Clark. Okay, I think you have already been taught. Why? Because these have prognostic significance. Okay, Breslow thickness less than 1 millimeter, 1 to 2 and 2 to 4, more than 4. Depending on the thickness, there is prognostic significance. Okay, now describe microscopy of melanoma. Roll number 90. Who is 90? 89? 84? 81? Describe microscopy of melanoma. Very good. And nests and sheets, okay, yeah. And how will the cells look? Cells have what? Large nuclei, right? Large nuclei and irregular nuclear contour, and chromatin is clumped at the periphery. Okay, what is that called? Vesicular chromatin. Okay, and nucleoli? What color? Grey. What is eosinophilic? What is eosinophilic? What is the meaning of eosinophilic? What color comes to your mind? Yeah, eosinophilic, reddish, yes. Prominent eosinophilic nucleoli, right? Okay, this is the tumor description, but what did I miss? What else are we going to see in a typical melanoma? When they ask you in exam, you have to say this only. What else? Pigment deposition can be present abundantly, right? Brown, dark brown to black melanin pigment deposition can be seen in these tumors, okay?